boy, here we go, folks. Hello, darlings. It's me, Anthony, on PRLostGalaxy2014. I mean, Power Rangers Lost Galaxy fan film, your least favorite Power Rangers YouTube channel, covering other stuff that's not that, with very less sass, but more crass to talk about this review on PRLostGalaxy2014 with my review on the one and only Elvira Mistress of the Dark by NECA Toys from Elvira's 40th anniversary back in 2021. So you're probably wondering, when you tuned into this review, what is a Power Ranger YouTuber reviewing a collectible action figure of Elvira? Well, it's not surprising. I mean, a lot of people should know I'm a huge Elvira fan. I've been a fan of her since 2010, 2011. Because now here's the thing, Elvira, aka Cassandra Peterson, has been around for a really long time, and even though I wasn't alive in the 80s, but I do respect and appreciate what this woman did for your childhoods. When you tune into late night TV watching them bad movies, and when you see her host those bad movies on TV, you know what's really more important, aside from her gothic macabre look, is that one thing right there between, in between, but okay, try not to be too perverse, but everybody knows that's what Elvira was mostly known for, aside from her long legs and those boobs, those boobs, those are the things that kept her so resonating with a lot of people to this day. But now Elvira basically is to a lot of us millennials as Morticia and Lily Munster was to the Gen Xers and baby boomers. So, because when you think about it, I mean, I wasn't even alive for Elvira's initial run on TV, but after looking up Wikipedia, YouTube videos, a whole lot of stuff about Elvira in the archives, even, the real Elvira's official YouTube channel, any reels with her doing throwbacks to all of her legacy content, that she did when she was on TV long before I was ever alive and thought of and all that, before I was ever, alive for. But hey, I mean, I finally have her 40th anniversary figure with her one and only look. I do have other variants of Elvira by NECA Toys. This is my very first NECA Toys review, by the way. So, for my first NECA figure, I figured, how about I do a review on the one and only Mistress of the Dark? Because again, Elvira is so influential for me to the point, she's just that. But even though Cassandra Peterson, bless her soul for bringing this character to life for the last 4 decades, even though she's not really in her Elvira getup as much anymore, because she's up there, she's up there in age now and all that. But when she was doing the getup in her, late 30s and her 40s, 50s, 60s, by the time she got to 70, and when it's been 40 years of Elvira, you thought, okay, after doing the Elvira thing for 40 years, it was time to hang up the wig, the gown, retire showing them boobs, those, sexy melons that you've been showing off on TV a lot, and so it was just time to move on from all of that. But again, and basically, when I think about Elvira, she was basically Jeannie from I Dream of Jeannie of our generation. For us 80s, 90s kids, 80s and 90s kids, so when you think about it, she was just that. She was basically like a gothic version of Jeannie. She was basically a gothic version of Jeannie from I Dream of Jeannie, aka Barbara Eden in a way. And hell, she was also like a gothic Dolly Parton, when you think about it. So, and I thought, all right, I've rambled enough, but I just couldn't stop. And when I first got the figure, I was like, I couldn't get enough of looking at this Elvira figure. I mean, you can call it a doll or whatever, but it's really a collector's figure, a collector figure. I mean, she does have posability, it's an action figure. She has all these accessories. Now, what would have been great is if I had her iconic red couch, and that would have been the perfect setup because, I got a camera, I got an Elvira figure. All I just need to do is get a couch and then also something for like decor to make it look like because that would be great, just try to, and also I gotta work on trying to channel my inner, trying to channel Elvira's character when trying to do some jokes, because again, I've been watching a lot of her content, and what a legend she is. So with that being said, here's the front of the package with Elvira with her main head and head where she's like winking at you, smiling. Then you got this creepy skull head, like, vomiting some green slime out of its mouth. Ew. Then you got this smoking goblet, cup with some green smoke coming out, and then her signature dagger, which we'll put in the shield, which we'll go over later. And here's the, again, so that's the front. Then you got a render of Elvira, especially Elvira from 1980, whenever. So you got that render. And then, action figure render, NECA Toys' logo, and also Real Toys. Both Real Toys and NECA have been involved to make this 40th anniversary figure so special. I should have gotten this Elvira figure back when it first came out in 2021 during the Big V, but here I am in 2025, 4 years later, and I got the figure, even though it was hard to find. And yeah, I bought it off of Amazon for a collectible price of $59.99 going on $60 because the figure's been out for a while, so I thought, all right, why not, let's take a look at this figure and take a look at, the figure itself. And whoa, what the heck happened? Okay, that was weird, but and then the camera was supposed to zoom in, do a cleavage transition, but nah, because it would have been great to homage that, but let's try to be more PG-13 about it. Let's be PG-13 because I'd rather do that. Okay, so here is all of her accessories and everything on the bottom, and then the figure. I just had her pose like that, and just call it that. So let's go over the accessories before I talk about this glorious looking Elvira. First, you have a base stand with her iconic, officially written signature, Elvira. Yeah, thank you, Cassandra, for that. And also features the patent NECA logo with made in China. You can see that a little bit if you can get a glimpse of it on the bottom. So put base stand for the figure. Then you have this again alternate Elvira head. Not a bad recreation of that face, because when you think about some of the facial expressions she makes, this is like one of the most authentic looking Elvira faces and head sculpts I've ever seen for a figure. And yeah, this is definitely well done and well made, especially look at how much realistic detail done on the sculpting of her wig, and because that's just how Elvira rolls. And especially some of the tails of the front of the hair is rubber, so there you go. I do like the detailing done on her makeup and lipstick, and Cassandra always had a long nose, so like a witch, and that's what I loved about Elvira, because she was just that type of witchy woman. My type of gal too, even though she's old enough to be my great grandmother, but sexier. But then there was this thing, because I think I recall in the 1988 Elvira Mistress of the Dark movie, I think Elvira had something like this in that movie, or I don't know, probably in like Movie Macabre or something. You can see a spider on here, and then this melted candle on top of the skull, and then this eye popping out of the socket, which it's very macabre in nature. And what is that, a snake? Is that no, that's not vomit, that's a snake. And also you can see some bits of the snake. Parts of the snake is plastic. But again, it just almost looked like vomit to me, or it looked like green ooze coming out of that skull, and also looking like Crypt Keeper from Tales from the Crypt with the skull with 2 candles on its head, an eye socket out, and then you have a spider on it, and then I'm just like, man, I mean, I'm okay with it. It fits the mood of her macabre appearance. Then you got this, goblet cup with this green smoke, which you saw on the render of the photo. The photo render of the figure, and this goblet cup. So you have that, and it's very, very, very macabre in nature, and I do like the detail done on that cup. And now we get into the main attraction, the figure. So you look at this Elvira figure, and when I took her out of the package, I had quite of a wardrobe malfunction. Moving the arms and stuff around, you're going to have that revealing boobage, and more of the boobage will keep, the more of the boobage, the more inclined and stuff. So yeah, here's Elvira in all her glory, and especially she has not changed a bit in her appearance since the 80s. And again, I mean, for a 90s baby, 2000s, raised, teen and shit. What do I know about Elvira? Well, again, I did Wikipedia and did research and watched YouTube videos and stuff. So yeah, I have to figure that out. I mean, there will never be anybody like her ever, and even when she's long gone and stuff. But even when she'll be long gone, her, the legacy of this character will still live on. But because just given about all of the stuff I have about Elvira, like a Elvira costume and wig for my mannequin and stuff. Yes, I have a mannequin that's dressed like Elvira or something else, but she is again, it's very authentic to how she always looked in real life, in costume and makeup. Even though again, Cassandra doesn't do the Elvira get up as much anymore because she's up there in age now, but the legacy and the glory of her Mistress of the Dark gimmick will always still remain. I just really think that this is a well-made figure because, again, this is my very first NECA Toys figure, and I thought, all right, for my first foray into NECA and their figures, but, NECA has mostly, like, when I think about their toys, they have mostly, like, horror figures, and Elvira is a horror hostess, and all, so, she's a comedy horror character, a character, comedic vamp of camp, so, when you think about that, there you go. But then also got to think about how they did her dress, and like her dress is, cloth, and I like the fabric and material done for the, the cloth, her dress, and her dress moves too. So you got that. So it's not like, if it was some random looking, cheap looking $20 figure, it probably would have went for some other material for the dress, and the figure would never been as authentic as it is right now. So I'm happy that NECA Toys did a great job on Elvira and her look overall. So there you go. And then the dagger, I already put the dagger in there prior to recording this portion of the review. And I don't know about how you can take the head off because, to switch out the head with her, winking at us. But I'm just going to keep this head on, for the time being, and just stick with that. Of course, you can, even despite this being a cloth robe figure, you can do some posability on the arms and this leg too. So you can move some of the arms and legs. So, show that sexy, that sexy goth mommy type thing going for her too, or goth stepmommy, because grandmommy, that type of thing, because that's just the thing with Elvira. And you can also hear a little squeak in the leg on the because the plastic material. It's just, again, wait until when I get a replica of that couch for the figure, and when I take photos of this later. Yeah, because now this is just me recreating one of her iconic poses from back in, from her early heyday. And even some posing she does now, but I don't know about the posing when she does, her hand up in the, her hand up, like all like, yeah, I guess you can still do that. And because again, it's an Elvira thing, so you got that pose a little bit, but I guess like this, I don't know, but I guess that's just as close as you can get with that. Okay. Now, as for articulation, because we got to be very careful on the articulation on the figure. So for the head, you got to... no, can't be showing that. No. I don't want YouTube getting in trouble with me thinking I'm showing bare naked melons and stuff on YouTube. Can't be showing that. No, because, you know, even when I'm trying to turn the head around, it just... I'm trying to turn the head around so you can see how her head articulates. Yeah, so you got that wardrobe malfunction. Give me a little moment, folks. Got to try to adjust the chest area of the dress so we won't have that. So that's how her head moves. So like I was saying before, I got interrupted over some stuff back there. So you have like some of that articulation because I'm trying to straighten the dress so it won't do too much revealing boobage. And then there's going to be some complaints from YouTube, so I got to be careful on that. So you do have some articulation on the arms, and you got an elbow crunch. So you can do some fabulous, and I mean literally pun intended, fabulous elbow crunches on the figure, despite the figure being, you know, in a cloth dress. And then you also got a elbow crunch on this arm here too. So you got that as well. Abdomen crunch. Okay, since this is the first time owning a NECA figure, so how do the abdomen crunches fare compared to something like, let's say, from Marvel Legends? Abdomen crunch on Elvira is kind of just like this, pretty much. Yeah, still more revealing boobage galore, but that's just as far as her abdomen crunching can go. I don't think you can swerve much of the abdomen, so that's as far. Waistline, nope, you can't twist the waistline because, you know, this figure is as long as a Barbie doll, but the figure does stand 8 inches. For something that is 8 inches tall, I'm like, well, what do you expect? Because she's built like that. She's built like a doll. I mean, in a black dress. And, an unusual, weird, creepy looking black dress, but that's just about that. Oh yeah, I never did point it out about that ring on her finger, that red ring on the finger, because if for those who have seen the 1988 Elvira movie, she always had that ring. Well, actually, she always had that ring, but you know, in the movie, the ring gives her special powers and stuff like that. And well, wait until I go over my next Elvira figure inspired from that movie, where she went commando for a little bit and then back to her, you know, galore, but battle damage. As for the spreading the legs, you can spread the legs, you know, but I don't want to, you know, reveal too much of where her buttocks and stuff is, because Elvira don't want to go there, don't want to go too far, because this figure is already sexy enough, and you gotta show this much. Come on, NECA, what y'all doing? Okay, knee crunch. Okay, this is just as far as her knee crunching is going. So that's just that. So that's how a knee crunch is on Elvira. Your knee crunch on this leg, man, damn them damn fine legs. If there's one thing that Elvira will always be remembered for, is aside from that gorgeous gothic face, is that pair of boobs of hers and those legs. Like, that's what she'll always be remembered for, even in the afterlife. As for the ankle pivots, no, I don't think you do any ankle pivots, I'm afraid. Nope. I don't, actually, you kind of do, sort of, but it's not that great. And also, them high heels of hers is really kind of poking my fingers a little bit. Then you have just this, I guess, you can call it for ankle pivoting, I guess. And lastly, we need to see how you're going to put her figure on the display stand. There's these 2 holes right here by the feet. So if you want to put the figure on the stand, you could. But even though I was kind of keeping her on, like, hold on, keeping her without the stand. But I mean, it's cool, but you know, keep her like a trophy, you know, just like this. And there you go. You got Elvira. I got to tilt the camera up a little bit so we can see her. And then this is Elvira on the display piece, that little display circle stand of hers. And there you go. I don't know if the other Elvira figure that I also going to review later will have this. Oh, shoot. Why the... man, why? It's just, dude. I'm just trying to keep her steady from not revealing too much boob. I'm trying, it's just... and she looks like she's about to plop over. Maybe I should keep her off the display piece. if she's not going to stand well in that. Oh, man, and the dagger came out. Oh, my God. She's already falling apart a little bit now. God damn. Well, I guess we'll just keep that display piece off for the time being. I guess you can just stand on her own, because for a figure as authentic to the real deal, although I'm trying to get her to stand right. I'm trying to keep her standing right. Just stay. Nope. She's about to fall. Oh, she's about to fall, and I hate to deal with her falling over, because again, I have a few action figures where the figures are not going to stand well in the blue background very well half of the time. So how do I feel about this figure now that I've reviewed it, despite some wardrobe malfunctioning? Well, of course, I have to cut some of that out in post. Her not standing very well in that little circular display piece thing that she came with and everything. Well, for NECA's first ever Elvira figure effort, this is great. I mean, it's one of the best looking Elvira figures I've ever seen, but there are other ones, because I have 2 other Elvira figures I'm going to review later. But I got to admit, this is not a bad figure. I mean, I wanted to give it a thumb up, but for authenticity's sake, she gets a solid straight up 2 thumbs up. And I have to admit, it's one of those Elvira figures that I think a lot of her fans have been wanting to have, because, well, I didn't even know she had toys, but actually I'm okay with the figures that NECA made of Elvira, you know, keeping very much authenticity to her likeness and everything, and Cassandra in the role and everything else too, with the costume and makeup and the wig and stuff, because at least it still looks like Elvira. It's still on point to how she always looked. And yeah, I mean, nobody wants old lady Elvira. They don't even want to see a figure of her where she looks like 50-something, 60-something. Keep her when she was in her prime in the 80s, because she's a relic of that time period. I mean, she's still around today, but, you know, you got all these cosplayers, impersonators and stuff of Elvira running around and stuff. So, but when the real deal is sadly will no longer be with us one day, there's always a lot of stuff to remember her by, because, you know, the character will live on. Elvira, the character, will live on, but, you know, it will be a sad day for the person behind her. So, you know how that will be. Yeah, it's a great Elvira figure, and definitely I had to add this to my collection. And, you know, I don't know if I will do any other NECA figures outside of Elvira, but I know for a fact I will do Terminator and RoboCop, and probably Evil Dead or something. But I don't know if I want to do, like, I know NECA does have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles figures, but I don't know if I want to do all things NECA Toys next, because I've been doing Hasbro, McFarlane, Mattel. So I'm going to see about this in due process. And, like, you know, I know there's probably going to be another Elvira I'll look into later, even when Pride Month comes up in June, and see where that goes from that too. And I think I got pretty much all the Elvira figures that NECA Toys did. The main figure, you got Commando Elvira, you got the Red Frightened Boo Elvira, and then you got Elvira with the rainbow pride flag colors. And then you got, I think there was another one. Well, it'll come back to me. So, with that being said, this was a great figure of Elvira. I definitely recommend it for anybody who's a fan of Elvira. And just straight up. And I have to say, Cassandra, you are beautifully recreated as an action figure. And they did a really damn badass job. Badass in a good way job on the figure. I mean, I'm not saying it was bad or anything. I mean, it's still great. I mean, still got other figures. And was it worth the hype back in 2021 when the character was celebrating her 40th anniversary? Well, yes, it was worth the hype. Even though I didn't get the figure back in 2021, but it can be any given time. You know, I could have got it last year in 2024 if I wanted to or something. I don't know. So that's it for my review on NECA Toys' Elvira figure. And it was a great surprise of a figure, and it was worth adding to my collection, because you know how much I like Elvira as a character. So yeah, I had to get the figure when it was available. So until then, if you really enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe, drop a like, share this video with your friends, and I'll see you guys next time with a brand new review on the channel, whether it be, you know, Elvira or WWE or Transformers or Power Rangers or Ninja Turtles. You know the rest. Until then, people, unpleasant dreams.